Hey, everybody, guess what? You're joining us for dinner.
Yep.
What are we having?
We are going to have some more of the Frist Seeds Foods. You saw us unbox that last week.
And so remember when we unboxed it last week, we couldn't have a couple of these because they needed to be thawed first. And basically, in looking at, I'm not sure if some of the instructions got moved around because it looks like perhaps they did.
Possibly, yeah.
And so I'm going to talk to the owners about that. But we're going to, and I'll show you from above, we're going to have the dal makhani, which we had last time and was delicious.
Very, very nice.
The Alloo Palak, which is potatoes and spinach. And then the vegetable korma, which has some different vegetables, and it has some cashews. So I think both of these have a little bit of cashew in them. But these are the foods that you can, and I'm just kind of showing you so you can, this has not been heated up. So it is not in its full glory, but we've let these sit out a little bit so they'll heat up faster. We'll show you when they're heated. And I'll show you from this front camera too, because I think
Hey, Hydran.
Oh, Hydran, yay! And Vivian. We're just kind of popping on because we're making dinner. So again, I'll put these back on because I can't remember. Do we heat them with or without? Cheryl will do that. So the vegetable korma from Frist Seeds Foods. And these are all oil-free, and they also have some salt-free varieties for those of you that are SOS. And there's the Palak. I love Palak everything. And usually we can't get it because it's always with dairy. There's one place that has a couple of things for us.
It almost always has paneer here.
Well, not only that, but it actually puts actual cream.
Yeah.
So it's not like coconut. You know, if you have a vegan one near you, it's probably coconut milk. And was it yesterday or the day before? We had made some basmati rice. I've already heated that up in the microwave because I had like zero downtime today.
Yeah, it's been a busy, busy day for Kathy here.
And for you haven't been feeling well, and you've been doing some stuff. So one of the things I like, and I'll do this when we microwave them. Do you want to go microwave?
Yeah, we just have to take the lids off.
We take the lids off? Okay. You can tell who's the microwaver here in this house. That would be Cheryl. And I like these containers are really nice, and they've stayed in the freezer really well from last week. And let me show you real quick just their site. Because they're currently taking orders for the October box. November box. I don't know what month it is now or next month. So, and see, they make vegan oil-free meals and ship them directly to your door. This box will be delivered between November 14th and 17th if you order now. So they're doing orders once a month in the end of the month to send mid-month is how that's working. And what we had gotten, so see how there's a new customer discovery box, or a no salt discovery box, or you can just get mix and match. And let me see, I'll show you we're showing you here, but I think I have to go into this. We'll go in here. And then no, this just adds the chana masala, dal makhani, rajma, dal tadka, pilaf, aloo palak, and korma that we talked about. And then...
So that was the box that we got, right?
That's the box we got. So let's go to, I think you get a chance to change it. There you go. You can see the thing. So this is pretty much it's all the things we got. So these are all Frist Seeds standard foods, and what that means is there's salt in it. Down here, there's less variety, but these are no salt. And they've been delicious, and they're not very spicy. So that's been kind of cool, too. Yeah. So Cheryl gets to eat them. Mm-hmm. And we one of the things that we do sometimes anyhow, like our 10%, we might use vegan tasty bites, which do have oil, but we keep them around all the time for like emergencies because we can just throw in some rice.
Right. They're kind of our go-to, like, nobody can cook tonight food. As long as we've got some rice in the refrigerator, we can just pull out a couple of those and boom, instant meal.
And you could get extra peel off. So like the only thing is that I'm bargain minded and it's hard for me to waste 2 of my choices on rice, but we're doing it again. So like there's not enough rice because since we're eating kind of, bulk eating of the starches, one of those little containers would only be for one person. So that gives us rice for once, but meals for a lot of other times. And that we talk to the people too. And so if you look down, I think Kathy Hester gets you $10 off. And they're just this one person.
Just one person does all this. So it's kind of amazing. It's kind of like Kathy, kind of a one-person shop, right?
Well, now I'm like a 1 3/4.
1 3/4. No, more like 1 1/2.
It's just because Cheryl works another job and helps me out here in my 70 bazillion jobs. Okay, let's get to some questions. You've got that heating up. There was something else. Yep. I am a little scattered because I have been going so crazy. And, CJ, you're up late.
Wow.
I hope and we're having some tea. We made some spice walla chai. Oh. Which, while it's black tea, I'll show you this too while we're,
so good. It's actually gotten a little chilly here in the evenings. We're expecting our first frost here shortly, any day now.
And I need to bring in my Meyer lemon trees. But see, look, if you look in here, Spice Walla is a spice company.
All that spice.
Oh, did it? See, look. So it's big spices and almost no black tea. So I'm feeling okay about having this, even though it's at night, because there's such little caffeine. But
it's so warming and just like it feels like the perfect thing to have with our dinner.
I feel like this will be a whole little thing. There is the Indian, and for those of you that are local, Sitar is doing its bi-weekly Thursday night vegan Indian buffet. It's all vegan, all of it. It's not all oil free. It's not all whole food plant based.
There's definitely salt. There's definitely
it's
oil.
Not SOS friendly.
Yeah.
But depending, if you're like us and you do have a 10 or 5% that you go out once a month or something like that, check it out. They have lots of veggies and the Plant Pod, Elizabeth with Plant Pod is trying to work with them to start adding a couple of oil-free dishes, but it may take a little time.
Yeah. So
we have to make sure it keeps going. But we were kind of adding things up. And while the vegan buffet is a bargain, I will say that because what is it, $17 a person or something?
Or $17.50 or something like that.
So it's not very expensive for all the things that we get there. And you could have I love that you can have a little bite of everything. And that's kind of what we're doing up here. We're making 3, and this is what we do with Tasty Bites. With those 3, we may or may not finish them. And what I do is I pack up extra rice, and then we'll just heat it back up again for lunch. But the Frist Seeds Foods is oil-free, and answering Tia saying, are they spicy hot?
The ones that we had last week during the unboxing were not spicy hot at all. I am a spice wimp. You can ask anybody if you've watched any of Kathy's stuff, you know that I can barely handle black pepper.
Well, sometimes black pepper she doesn't like. Now, so here's the weird thing. There are a couple of super spicy things she will eat. And like she used to eat chili paneer, which turned into me making her chili tofu, which is like a Indo-Chinese dish. And it's like,
I'm sorry, the dog is trying to steal the cat's bed
in the corner. So he's actually going, there's a bed. I'm going to sit in it, and it's too small for him.
Let's get you a little something.
This is not the first time our 58-pound Pitbull Hound mix has tried to squeeze into a tiny cat bed. He thinks he's a pocket puppy. But he has, I was on Chef AJ's thing last night, and she thought Mama Says wasn't doing fresh foods anymore. When I went and looked, it seemed that they were maybe doing cookies. That looked like those are for order, but they are the ones we had. We had the Rajma, the Tadka dal, and we had the dal Makhani, and none of those were spicy.
No, they just were flavorful. They weren't spicy at all. It was really, really nice.
And traditionally, the two other dishes, the Alloo, Palak, and the vegetable Korma, usually are not spicy.
When I talked to the owner, one of the things that was mentioned was they know that some people would be feeding these to their kids, and so they spice things accordingly for kids.
And for possibly older people too, that maybe had sensitive stomachs.
Yeah.
So you could always email and ask them to. And let's go back here for 1 second, because I was like, I'm trying to remember. Let's go back. It's a 12-pack for $137.75. And so, what is that like?
That's with the subscription discount.
Oh, that is with the okay. You get 5% discount, so it's $145. So it's like $12 each, possibly.
No, and that doesn't seem right.
Well, if it was 10, it would be $14.50 each.
Oh, that's true.
So I think it's probably about $11 or $12 each-ish.
And honestly, if you went out to an Indian restaurant, you're going to pay, like the ones around here for sure, you're going to pay anywhere from $15 to
sometimes now $22. Yeah, $22.
$22 for that dish. Mm-hmm. Right? So, I mean, we just kind of looked at it like, hey, we eat Indian food a lot. Like, a lot.
I would eat it every day.
She would eat it
twice, 2 to 3 times a day.
Probably 3 times a day if you could.
I would do well in India.
Yeah, probably. I would starve.
No, you wouldn't.
I wouldn't be able to eat
doses every morning.
Yeah, well, it just depends on how spicy they put the stuff. But see, spicy.
Oh, good. Vivian did the math.
So
$12.08
when we looked at it, we were like, okay, for as many times as we go out, and if you also Tasty Bites are getting expensive too, so
depending, and there's another one that is also all of it's vegan. Tasty Bite has vegetarian and vegan ones, and they're marked clearly. Mm-hmm. Both of those use oil, and the other thing is it's always going to cost more if you're a small producer producing really niche foods like oil-free, salt-free at this point. And we see it too, like in the other delivery services. And I know, what is it? Something seed? No. There's another one. They keep spam emailing me. And so I gave them a very stern email back saying, it's because they're like, Dr. Greger loves this. There's one, it's a dry foods mixture. And I know one of you guys will remind me what the name is. And I'm sure it's great. However, they're just emailing me kind of going, go look at this site. Go look at this site. Dr. Greger loves this. Do you want oil-free stuff? And I'm like, if you're trying to sell me things, this is not a good way to try to do that.
Oh, it smells good.
Oh, it does smell good. And we have really, we got it before I knew Chef AJ was actually talking about it, or
Potato Down.
Jill Dalton from Whole Food Plant-Based Cooking Show. But it's been kind of delightful. And today was the day that I thought we would do some other things. But what I did, cooked a double batch of rice yesterday. I did go ahead and bake some potatoes, and they're in the fridge. So tomorrow, if we have leftovers, we could put leftovers over that, or we could just have potatoes and different things. Leaf side, that's it. And I'm sure they're delicious, but they need to get some new marketing people. Because they're literally spamming me. And I'm like, why are you spamming me? Okay, so there would be no difference. You could heat your already cooked rice up on the stove. You could reheat it in other ways. And And I think Cheryl.
Oh, these look. I lost the potato, guys.
Where did you lose it?
On the stove.
Oh, I cleaned the stove, so I can eat that.
So
that's the reason to keep your counters clean. The best reason.
They look hot enough to me, but you like your stuff hotter, so
it'll be fine. I'm hungry. So
y'all, this vegetable korma.
Okay, let's put it where people can see it.
Let me shut this door and grab this potato. Pop it in my mouth.
She's popping the potato in her mouth. Okay, so this looks really yummy, and I just love greens, and I love potatoes. And usually, if you've had Indian food before you went vegan, you probably had Palak paneer, and then, ooh, that does smell good. It's like peas and carrots, cauliflower. It looks like there might be a piece of mushroom. Let's see. Cauliflower, green pepper, red pepper, carrots, peas, and there's all kinds of great spices like bay leaf, cinnamon, chili powder, coriander, mango powder. And since I got the salt one, this has some salt. And this is
my favorite
creamy dal makhani. And so this one what makes it creamy is a little bit of cashew. The total fat in this entire container, and this is kind of interesting because sometimes, and I know Leaf Side, I believe, is one that has kind of a lot of nuts in it. I could be wrong. I haven't tried them. But so the grams of fat, 2 servings per container. The whole container is 210. The whole container has 2 grams of fat.
Yeah, it's because it doesn't have all that oil in it. That oil is what jacks that up.
Right, but if there were a lot of cashews, that would come up a lot too.
That would too.
So I feel like for where we are now, we're limiting our nuts and seeds, but I don't feel bad about that. There's also cashew in this one, and let's see. This is 1 serving per container, and it has 4 grams of fat and 150 calories. So it's a little bit higher, but we're going to split that anyhow. Mm-hmm. TS is saying, I know it is starch solution, that we're doing starch solution. Do you also do a lot of vegetables to go along with it? It would depend. So like tonight,
there's plenty of vegetables in there.
I feel like if we split, here, I'll come in a little bit more. If we split this container of vegetables, because it's about 1.5 cups to 2 cups in here, and then we'll have potatoes from here. We have our starch rice, and then we're just going to add some beans. The beans will probably be the thing that's left over. Mm-hmm. We'll probably split both of these. I didn't look at and the Palak is saying this is 1 serving as well, and it's like 0.5 grams of fat. But there's no reason in the world you couldn't steam a bunch of vegetables and put especially the tadka dal, the yellow dal. So sometimes when I make yellow dal, I'll just make it plain. Sometimes I cut up sweet potatoes and cauliflower and carrots and all kinds of stuff and put it in there. And it just depends on how much volume eating you're doing as well. Right. So we'll probably eat this, and then we may have some seconds of around in here. So that's what we usually do. However, if you wanted to stretch this out more, you could heat up 1. We could split. Let's say we'd split this dal, and we could just put our vegetable of choice from the freezer, which is what Cheryl likes to do. And I could either make a quick sauce to put on it. Like I could use some garam masala and maybe some yogurt, some vegan yogurt, and mix that up and then kind of make its own korma. Mm-hmm. This is authentic food. What I just told you was not authentic food, but I'm hungry and I would like a little Indian influence in my veggies today.
Well, and one of the reasons why we have always stayed away from, even before we did the starch solution, we stayed away from all of these like delivery company things, because we always just felt like that we weren't going to get enough food for each serving kind of thing, and that it was going to just kind of be a waste of money for us, because it some of those you still have to cook. You're not just heating things up. You still have to cook the stuff. They just send you all the ingredients.
And that I can do on my own.
And it was like part of the great thing about this, which is now going to replace our Tasty Bites. The great thing is I can go to the freezer and I can pull some of this stuff out like I did at lunchtime today. I said, hey, do you want to have some of that Indian food? And she was like, yes. And I went and I took these out and I set them on the counter to thaw so that when we were ready, I could just pop them in the microwave and away we go. Or if I was thinking tonight, if we wanted to do it again, I could go get some and put them in the refrigerator and let them just sit overnight in the refrigerator.
Right.
But this is something that, not a lot of effort goes into it. We already had rice made. We just heat it up and away we go. And she doesn't have to sit there and cook yet another thing. And
well, I get to have today wasn't a cooking day, but today was like we did the live with Stacy, which was great. But I had a McDougal meeting for our cohort this morning, and then I had another thing for another group that I'm in. So it just seems like this week is all meetings, and I am not about the meetings this week. Yeah. So having some things like this also, because I'm doing a slow cooker soup class on Saturday, I'm pre-recording that because it's not an 8-hour class. And so we've been eating on the soups that I've made as well. So I haven't really had to cook very much, and I can try and do some other things, which is helpful. We also, if you can't afford this and you can't afford to go out, then make double batches of yellow dal. Make double batches. Some things like freezing potatoes and a few other things can be a little more tricky, and you have to do things a certain way. But just freeze extra soups and stews, and then you can have that for yourself as well. If you're like us and love Indian food and can't really find oil-free Indian food by you, like when we were in Sacramento near Chef AJ, we found all the Asian food. Like there was Vietnamese and Korean and Filipino.
I was so excited. Like I got to eat some of my favorite Chinese dishes while we were in Sacramento.
On plan
because they were at the oil-free place, and it was just amazing. And I wish we had places like that around here. But who knows, in the future, maybe we'll get some more.
Well, hopefully the Sitar will add some stuff. Those Sitar is really, even though they have vegan buffet Thursday nights every other Thursday right now, even if you go to their lunch buffet, they clearly list what's vegan.
Yeah.
And you can get enough to eat. It's not just one dish or something like that. And that's great. But like, I'm doing a lot of peopling during the day. And so I had asked a friend if she wanted to go tomorrow. So if she doesn't say anything, I'm not going, I think. Unless tomorrow I wake up all peoply.
Tomorrow's Wednesday.
Oh, 2 days. I have 2 days to be peoply. So far it's been 9 days, no peoples. But anyhow, I just wanted to show you this, and we thought we'd just show you all the different ones as we eat them so you can see. I guess let's take a little taste real quick before we leave, because I feel, here's some for you. I don't know why I'm saying we have to have real taster spoons.
We're going to share the stuff.
Okay, so I'm going to try some potato and Palak.
I'm going to try some of this one.
Okay, because just so you guys know, before I became vegan, Palak paneer was, to me, the greatest Indian food ever made. So this has got some really good flavors.
So if this would have been spicy, you would have seen it on my face.
Yes.
And you would have immediately seen me go for my drink, and I did not. So this is very flavorful, but not like burny spicy at all. Just very flavorful.
It's like in between. This one has just a tiny bit, so it's not baby mild, it's real mild. So Cheryl sometimes orders things baby mild. Isn't that amazing? Did you get some of the juicy juice?
Yeah.
And we already tried the dal makhani, but
that's really good. Eat all your potato.
Yeah. So we'll see if there's leftovers tonight or not.
I'm gonna have this one.
I know.
You can have that one, and I'll take this one. I'm just kidding.
You'll want the potatoes. So it's really good, and we're
This
not
is my
just
favorite. I love dal makhani.
And dal makhani is not vegan at restaurants,
Right.
typically. I mean, I'm sure you can find somewhere, and even it's only been recently that Tasty Bite added a dal makhani in the vegan section.
Yeah.
It's always been vegetarian because it has cream in it. Oh, TS also loved Palak paneer. I know, right? There's just something magical about how the spices go with the greens, and I make one as well.
Yeah, my favorite used to be paneer makhani.
Yeah.
And it was really hard to kind of let that go. But.
And we've been doing some with tofu that's worked out pretty well, or soy curls. We made a soy curl one.
Yeah, and I'm finding now that what I always thought before was the only reason I could eat this was because it was the paneer cheese. Is not true. I actually do like the flavors of the sauces, and so we put it over. If I want that same texture, we'll just throw it over some tofu, and then I have that same texture, and I'm happy.
The extra firm, quote unquote, high protein tofu, which has nothing different, it's just pressed more. I'm giving you some from the top that doesn't have as much spinach. Yeah.
I'm not a huge spinach fan. So.
And I'm going to have all the spinach that I can hold over here.
Palak paneer was not my...
It was not her favorite.
I wouldn't even touch it most of the time.
Couple more potatoes?
No. It's good.
Okay.
You love the potatoes. You should do
all and I'm scraping out
because I'll have more of
the dal. But and Tia says, can you click on I like the idea of this. Here, and I'll get a potato, Susan. I see your comment too. Says, I love the idea of this. Need something to put together along with my veggies. When my blood sugar goes low, I want something fast and everything, especially if it's sweet. I totally get that. And the thing is I'm still thinking perhaps you don't have to thaw these two first. But we're going to ask and find out for you guys. I'm getting some extra cauliflower.
Susan has a question
about if the potatoes are squishy, right?
How is the
Here? I'm going to let you put that.
Of the potatoes? I usually find that white potatoes don't freeze as well.
They're not supposed to be, but I didn't find it mealy.
No, they got a nice bite to them. They're not like super soft or anything like that.
Let me see if I can get this. Will you switch to the overhead? So you can kind of, I know that doesn't tell the whole story. You can see some texture on it.
I mean, it's got a bite to it.
But it does have a bite to it a little bit. So it didn't just mush.
Yeah.
I'll switch back to us. Yeah. Well, hello over there in Tennessee. How are you doing? We're having Indian food for dinner from...
Yes, we are.
And so, the potatoes, I honestly would not freeze the potatoes. But, I might ask her if she does something different. I also wonder, so like when they're doing frozen meal development, a lot of times certain things are packaged a certain way. So when we're looking to copy some of those things, like at Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's, when I was still doing vegetarian, they would have already cooked frozen pasta, and then we'd have the sauce in little like ice cubes, and everything would be separate. And so I was like, oh, that obviously helps everything from degrading and getting really, like weighing down the pasta or the pasta soaking things up too quick. So that might be, I'm kind of surprised too.
Sorry, scared me and the dog.
Scaring everyone. Well, you guys, if you don't have any other questions right now, we're gonna go. It is yummy.
Yeah,
and we tasted all of these in here. I can I don't
know if you guys saw the other when we did the unboxing, but we were actually in the car on the way to Massachusetts when Kathy was like scrolling through things, and this came up. I don't know, how did it present it to you on Facebook?
It was on Facebook. To me, all I see are people asking me questions and all the sales.
And she was like, ooh, there's this Indian delivery service that has no oil and no salt options. And I was like, what? And then she repeated it, and I didn't even have to think about it. I was like,
because I was like, do you want to try this?
This is a no-brainer for us. We would spend this money going out.
Easily. And not getting something that's really good and filling.
And wouldn't be no oil.
And so she almost got everything out. I'm going to get every last drop out because that's who I am.
Get your spatula for you.
I will spatula this. But I'm like, don't waste the sauce. She's not as interested in all the sauces as I am. That one is kind of, how is the other one doing it?
I'm very particular about how I have my plate.
And
how much rice to other stuff consistency I have.
She likes a little bit of stuff on her rice, and I'm like, give me some rice with my stews.
But she's the person that when you have pasta and you put your sauce on, she goes, are you going to want any more of this? Because she's going to use every bit of the sauce that's left in there.
Don't waste good sauce. But yeah, so I love sauces and stuff. So we did split, she got about a third of the potatoes. We split the cauliflower korma, the vegetable korma. And
we both used about half of this container.
We used about a third each of the container. So if we're going to eat some more, we will come back, and probably the dal makhani will get finished off too. So just these things are like, and I know on the starch solution we don't do calories, but I know some of you are doing some other things. So this is 140 plus 150, which is 290. And if we finish this one, 290, 3, 4, 500 calories in stews.
And we're splitting that.
Right. So that's total, and all of these is 500 calories. Obviously, the rice we're eating has calories and counts if you're counting calories. And we probably have a cup of rice, most likely. Looking at the two things and making calculations, maybe a cup and a quarter. Mm-hmm. I know, right, Marie? Sauce is the best part.
No.
Thank you. And ICAS says, I'm coming over for some Indian food. Excellent. Oh, that's right. You can't see. I didn't mean, these pears, they're right. Ooh, I think they're ripe. You should. Okay.
I'm not a pear fan.
That's what I'm having for dessert. She's not interested in the pears. I ate all the red ones. I got 2 bags. I got a bag from Aldi's and like this bag of assorted pears from Trader Joe's. And pears are like avocados. They're the ripe for like 5 minutes. So you got to get them while you get them. And so there you go. Oh, Susan says, I saw the company's owner talking in another meetup group. Oh, the owner lives close to you and graduated from the same high school my kids went to. Well, after we did our live, Cheryl reached out to talk to them. Because I was like, are you doing affiliate stuff? And here's the link to what we just did anyhow, no matter what. And she was just
super
so sweet. We didn't talk in person. We've only talked via email. And ICAS says, my wife hates the texture of pears but loves the flavor. And you know what? I don't know if you have a Ninja Creamy or not.
Yeah. He has totally stolen the cat's
Let's see if we can. Everything's kind of a hot mess over there, but if I can make.
Oh, God.
Okay. Can you?
Yeah. No, they can't see that.
Yeah. Well, they can if you.
Once I turn it.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Here you go, guys.
So we've been cleaning up in this corner. This is Matt.
He is squashing.
And this is bed. Is it a comfy bed? The kitty doesn't actually lay in it. The kitty lays in this thing. But he's like, it's a bed. You want to switch?
Yeah.
This is the closest anyone's ever gotten to see Max's cute little face. But
he's a bed thief and a
blanket thief. Oh, he's up now. Were you just cute? Were you just being cute? All right, you guys. I hope you're eating something delicious. And how is it 8 o'clock?
I don't know. The day has just went.
the whole day. I feel like just I'm in a time warp. But anyhow, I hope you guys, this helps a little bit. Tia says my dog does that too. When we first got Max, the first thing he did was jump up and get into one of the cat's beds.
Yes.
And
all he could fit in it was his butt.
And he'll fit. He'll make it fit. It'll work. But the couch, there's not enough room on the couch for him to get up if all of us are there.
Yeah, it's just so weird.
Animals. Okay, so if you have some more questions about this, we'll keep sharing just because as we're showing our first reactions, I think that's helpful for you guys to decide if it's for you or not. But it's real food. It's not like dried food you're reconstituting.
The aroma is just wonderful, and the taste is great too. Like, y'all, I don't usually like a lot of cauliflower, but this, like, I don't know. If we wouldn't have been on here, we might have fought over who was getting all of that.
Yeah, and I've been really craving some cauliflower. So this is just a nice way. And I don't know about you guys, but as it gets colder, I get more antisocial. Yeah. I will talk to you guys here on the lives, but to get me out of the house, and then once it's like dark at 4:30, I'm like, it's too late to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So, oh, thanks so much. I know, right? Oh, and Susan said she actually asked if she could drive to the owner's house and pick up her order, but she said the food was made in professional kitchens. That's great. Yeah. All right, guys. Have an amazing night. I hope you had a great dinner or getting ready to have a great dinner. And we'll be back on at 1 o'clock on Thursday with Lisa Rice. So hopefully we'll see you there. Bye. Bye.